I hope I don't get emotional today. That's the only thing. But I don't know, quite a bit. Quite a lot of things are similar. Maybe the decisions that Alisha makes in the movie are probably some of the decisions I would not make in my personal capacity, in my personal life. But I think for the most part, it is relatable.
It's easier to kind of, always know that, oh, I'm the good guy, so let's play it like a good guy. Oh, I'm the bad guy, so I'm going to be a bad guy. But what's tricky, it's a very fine, thin line. What's tricky is just to, make your way around it, and which is what we are in real life. Are we good people? Are we bad people? Or are we just messed up?
Hello everyone, welcome to peepingmoon.com. I'm Rashida Sahani and today I'm all set to delve deep into the complexities of New Age love with the team of Gehraiyaan. Welcoming Deepika Padukone Siddhant Chaturvedi Ananya Panday, Dhairya Karwa and Shakun Batra. Hi you guys, how have you been?
Hi.
Great.
Fantastic. Firstly, I have to start off by saying I watched the film 2 days back and I really liked it. It was something which I didn't expect, honestly. It just made me feel so many things once I was done watching. Of course, we'll talk more about that, but I have to start off by asking, today the film has, of course, last night it released, today all the reactions are coming in. How do you feel about all the love coming in your way? And is there a particular reaction that really, made you go, wow? We can start with you, Shakun.
Well, it's I'm still kind of reeling in. For me, just getting all the love and messages. It's been overwhelming. I still haven't started replying back yet because I think I need the time to, appreciate each and everything that's been said. I think I also like that this kind of conversation going about all the things we wanted to talk about. On Instagram, on Twitter. So for me, that's really what's exciting. It's not just a movie you watch; it's something you want to talk about. And for me, that's been such a that for me is the most rewarding thing. And today is only day one, so I don't know how the conversations build up. How I read this post where somebody in a restaurant said they heard 3 different tables talk about the film. So for me, that's really fascinating.
Okay, yeah. Deepika, what about you?
Just extremely overwhelmed. I mean, I've been in this position a couple of times in my life earlier, but this has just been extremely overwhelming. So I do feel a sense of gratitude, a lot of gratitude, because it hasn't been an easy journey to be committed to this over 2.5 years. And like Shakun and I were discussing, you're technically living this character from the time you're given the narration and you say yes to a film. The process of characterization and the actor in you that switch has already turned on. Even if you start filming 6 months later. So I think to carry that sort of emotional baggage for all of this while, and then for the film having to reshoot and a couple of things, and just having to hold on to that emotion for that long, to today where just to see the way people are reacting to the film, reacting to the performances, it's been extremely overwhelming, but a lot of gratitude.
Fantastic. Siddhant?
Gratitude. मैं तो हाथ जोड़ के बैठा हूँ.
So sweet.
I'm feeling really overwhelmed by the response, and the best thing about the response is that nobody saw that coming. Whatever they see, it's been a surprise. Everybody was expecting something after watching the units, after watching the trailer, but now what has been delivered is beyond they've been pleasantly surprised, if I would put it. But yeah, I mean, and exactly what Shakun said, the conversation we would want them to have is happening. People are talking about choices, their interpretations about different characters. They're choosing their characters, the ones they mostly relate with. And I think most of the people are relating with at least one of us, and we all are like very different in the film. So we are all getting, I think, a lot of love, and yeah. So I feel like it's like a magician. What's coming out of the hat, you don't know. So yeah, I'm really happy.
Great. Glad to hear that. Ananya, what about you?
I mean, I think the overall feelings are being overwhelmed and gratitude. And I just love seeing the excitement that everyone had before the film. Like, I think we were all surprised by how many people sat there at midnight and had planned this whole get together. They had put up projectors and, they were having small watch parties, sitting in different houses, and everyone was discussing the film. Like, I got a message this morning saying I sat with my dad for 30 minutes after the movie and discussed the movie. So I think we always wanted conversation. We wanted, different opinions. We wanted conversation is what I mean by that. And I think we're all just happy. We're overjoyed and over the moon with the love that we're getting. And we hope that people watch it a second and third time and then, pick up different things from it. Because my dad has seen it 3 times and he's like, every time I watch it, I'm just finding something new. I'm picking something new up. I realize that you said this later because you were actually thinking all these things. So I think this film is like full of Easter eggs. And the more times you watch it, it still isn't enough. And I love when people say, oh, I watched it last night and then I slept and in the morning I'm still thinking about the movie. So these kind of things just, I guess, what we made the film for. Yeah.
Great. That's absolutely great. Dhairya?
I am still processing everything. This is so new to me, really. That, everybody is mentioning, of course, the unanimous...
Dhairya's just staying true to his character.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's getting a lot of messages from directors, producers. So he's been like really occupied with that.
So I'm just processing it. But again, the feelings are mutual. You are overwhelmed. You are grateful for the response that we've been getting. And really, I mean, I'm short on words, but you get it. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling.
It's fine. I feel you. Okay. Also, Deepika, I heard you say this somewhere that after you were done watching Gehraiyaan, you sat for 5 minutes and, you just looked at the blank screen and you were processing something. Now, I have to tell this, I sat for 10. There were so many things going on in my mind. I just don't know how to explain it. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But also because I could relate the most with Alisha. I thought I know her and I still think the same way. But how was it for you as Deepika to play this character, Alisha, who I think is someone we can all relate with at some point in life? And what was that one thing that, Alisha and Deepika have in common?
A lot. Okay. I hope I don't get emotional today. That's the only thing. But I don't know, quite a bit. Quite a lot of things are similar. Maybe the decisions that Alisha makes in the movie are probably some of the decisions I would not make in my personal capacity, in my personal life. But I think for the most part, it is relatable, and I think that for a girl who, who's lived most of her life in Bangalore and has always wanted a better life. And it's not to say that I'm not grateful for what I've had, but I've always been ambitious and I continue to be. So I understand that. And I remember when Shakun and I spoke, the one thing that we definitely wanted to do with this character was to give her that emotional depth, because very often in the movies that we've seen historically, when a woman is portrayed as someone who is ambitious or wants something more in life, it always has a sort of negative connotation to it, like she's a gold digger, and I don't entirely agree with that, because I think it's absolutely okay to want more and to want better. I mean, how else are we going to progress in life? How else are we going to evolve? And sure, that may not be everyone's sort of path, but it is most certainly a path that I have chosen for myself, and therefore I think a path that I empathize as far as Alisha is concerned, and I was able to make it less materialistic and more, and bring in that sort of emotional depth or vulnerability to her needs and where she wants to be in her life and what she wants from it. Apart from that, I mean, everyone knows I've had my experience with mental illness. So again, that is something that just by default, honestly, I think I was able to bring to the table. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, I think the fact that she's intuitive, so I think broadly these are the things that I identify with. But certainly, I mean, I don't know if I'd make the same choices. But then that's why the actor in you comes alive. It's ridiculous to ask for an actor to have lived the same life of a character that you've played. I mean, I guess that seldom happens. So I think you draw from things, different experiences in your life. And sometimes it's not even the same situation. Sometimes it could be a completely different situation, but of an emotion that you might feel similar to, and you draw from that and use it in a completely different situation or scene, and it's effective. So I would say, like parts of it. But I have to say it's been my most emotionally, I said it after Chapak, I said it after Piku, but I'm saying it again. This has been my most draining physically, emotionally, mentally role of my career so far.
Okay, absolutely, I get it. And talking about the film, of course, Shakun, it's anything but a cliche film. We don't see a lot of these, scripts in Bollywood. I don't know what for, but whenever Shakun Batra comes up with something, there's this expectation. People start saying that, okay, it's going to be different, it's going to be real, and we could probably relate to it. With Gehraiyaan, I think it's even increased more now. How do you perceive this notion as that's attached with you as a filmmaker?
I mean, I don't give that so much of a thought, honestly. I think I'm just following my own instincts and curiosity. Yeah, for me, I'm following my curiosity, and if a story needs to be showcased in a real way, then that's just how I want to approach it. It's not something I'm doing because I feel like some kind of pressure or weight on it. I'd be equally excited to try something completely different. But for this story, as Deepika was saying, it was important that people don't see it as outside of reality. Obviously there are two different kind of worlds within the film. There is the opulent, rich world of Zain and Ananya, and then there is Alisha and Dhairya and their world. But it was important that we do justice to both those worlds. So that was just the need of what the story was. But I honestly don't take all the other things too seriously. It's just story to story.
Okay, got it. And Siddhant, you are now in the film, you are delightfully with it. By the end of it, I didn't know whether to hate you or to sympathize with your character. I was constantly thinking, if I sympathize with you, am I a bad person? Or if I hate you, am I a ruthless person? I was constantly thinking that way. I'm still not able to decide what I feel, but I just want to ask this to you. Even when you did MC Shade, you left this sort of impact. You camouflaged with your character so well. Even with Zen, you do that. Now, how do you manage? Because these characters are way, way different from each other.
Well, firstly, I mean, thank you so much. I mean, if you can't decide, that means I've kind of, done it right. I've got it right. Because the intention was never to be a good guy or to be a bad guy. It was always to leave the choice up to you, to the audience to decide for themselves. And that was the intention always. The same with, MC Share, a lot of people thought that there's going to be something gray, there's something's going to happen towards the end, but that's what attracts me the most about characters is, you know, the reality of it, you know, the realness in a character. You know, we've seen films, and we've seen them in black and white. There have been heroes and villains.
Yeah.
But I've always, I mean, it's easier to kind of, you know, always know that, oh, I'm the good guy, so let's play it like a good guy. Oh, I'm the bad guy, so I'm gonna be a bad guy. But what's
Correct.
tricky, it's a very fine, thin line. What's tricky is just to, you know, make your way around it, you know, and which is what we are in real life. Are we good people? Are we bad people? Or are we just messed up? We
Yeah.
all have those both, you know, nobody's too good, nobody's too bad.
Yeah.
And that grayness of it is what I really, I think I'm fortunate enough to get it, the role. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy doing things like that where the audience has to kind of decide for themselves if if it was a right choice or a wrong choice. But yeah, I mean, nothing's planned as yet. This role was
Yeah.
offered, and I really could connect to the realness of it, and I tried my best to kind of bring it out. I never thought it, oh, कि मैं hero हूँ film का, या फिर, you know, I never thought of it when I signed कि मैं villain हूँ. We had a lot of internal
Correct.
jokes though throughout the film
Yeah.
with Shakun, but yeah, I mean, I knew it, that, you know, I'm just going to be real, I'm just going to be true, and let the story take its course.
Okay, fantastic. And Ananya, even I mentioned this in my review also, that you are this, this charming girl who brings her innocence into the film. Now, I really believe that, because I think at some point it was much needed. You know, when your mother tells you you are too trusting sometimes. So all of those factors. Now, this is something completely different than what you have done before. Your characters like Shreya, Pooja, Tapasya, all of those. Um, Also, talking about Tia now, this character is really intense. Also, it's something I think as an actor you must have done something. Some, maybe, I don't know if you took some classes or you did some research of your own, but it really brings that maturity in your face, in your acting in this film. So, what all did you have to learn or unlearn for Tia?
Oh, that's, I feel really overwhelmed. No, I'm so happy that you feel that way. I think what was most important for me was to kind of get that maturity, as you said, because I am playing someone who's slightly older than I am. And not just older, but someone who's going through something at a much larger scale than anything I've experienced in my life before. You know, there's a lot more at stake than, anything that I have experienced in that sense, especially in terms of the relationship that she's in with Zayn. I think I said that I am really similar to how Tia is as a person. But there are definitely things that I had to kind of pick up from, as I said, relationships around me. Also, Shakun helped me a lot in streamlining all the thoughts that were going on in my head. But I think for me, I needed to get a sense of Dherav, is that the right thing? Because in real life, I'm super excitable. I talk very fast. Everything that I'm feeling inside immediately shows on my face. And I think with Tia's character, I had to, that was my biggest thing I probably had to work on, was just a sense of calmness, a sense of restraint, a sense of, I'm just going to keep using the word Dherav because that's the first word that's coming to my mind. So I think that kind of helped me seem a little mature in that sense. But I've completely forgotten the question, so I'm talking very randomly now.
No,
is
it's
the
on
time this
point.
answer?
Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Dhairya, my last question is, of course, to you. The last time we spoke about the fear of being lost in Mighty Stars, where you and Ananya spoke about not being, not shying away from starring in films with, co-starring with a lot of other actors, and that only makes you better as an actor. Now, I have seen your performance, and now I know that there is this impact that you leave on with Karan. There are a lot of things that when I watched the film, I realized why Karan is doing things a certain way. For example, where he has this fight with Alicia, where he says that घर तुम्हें नहीं चलाना पड़ेगा, and all of those things. These things do happen today, where sometimes a boy really gets into this thing that ghar kaun chala raha and all of those things. Now, of course, as a society, we have become very progressive. But when we talk about Karan, as I mentioned, there's a mark that he leaves. Now, how did you manage to do that? Despite it being a multi-starrer, I didn't feel कि कोई भी character lack कर रहा था. Be it Nasiruddin sir or be it Rajat Kapoor, everyone was just on point.
No, firstly, thank you for noticing that, appreciating that, and
Yeah.
I mean, I give credit to the writers and Shakun really, because my job is, again, I don't focus on how many people are around me. My job is when I sign onto a project, I believe in my part. I believe in the story, and I just have to serve the story really. And if I'm honest
Yeah.
to my part, if I'm honest to the story, it will somehow just you'll see that on screen as well. So that will translate. So my job is not to worry about the actors around me. In fact, it's the other way around. If I'm surrounded and supported by great actors, it just elevates my game. And again, it's a testament that your opinion, your review, that I stand my ground, I stand my own. So thank you.
You're most welcome. Thank you so much, guys, for joining in. It was a lovely conversation, and looking forward to watching more films like Gehraiyaan and more actors like you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.